what we presume now is the arrest of Malusi Gigaba, a former Minister of Public Enterprises, former Minister of Home Affairs, a former Minister of Finance at one point as well. But we understand that this is in connection with his alleged role with Transnet tenders during the state capture era. We do expect that he will be appearing in court today and that appearance will be relatively soon. He has, again this morning, through a statement from his private office, denied wrongdoing. Gigaba is currently a member both of the ANC NEC and of Parliament. He is co-chair rather, of Parliament's Standing Committee on Defence. Sikonathi Mantshantsha is a journalist with News 24 Investigations. Sikonathi, good morning. I do appreciate the time. Thank you. What do we know about the role Malusi Gigaba was playing at Transnet while he was Minister of Public Enterprises? He would have had a lot of power then.
Stephen, just before you get there, a small correction. He's not been arrested. He's been asked by the IDEC to present himself for a discussion, which may or may not mean an arrest. There is no court appearance as yet, and we don't know what the charges are at this very point, except that the matter relates to Transnet. Malusi Gigaba was Minister of Public Enterprises between November 2010 and December 2014, appointed by one Jacob Zuma. It was during that period when Transnet was acquiring locomotives from China, from two companies in China. When Gigaba became minister, the deal had already been signed with two Chinese companies for these locomotives, amounting to 38 billion rand. In a matter of months, it suddenly jumped to 70 billion rands. That's what South Africans are today paying for Transnet to have these locomotives or trains from China, and of course there has been a serious dispute between the two Chinese suppliers and Transnet in the process. Malusi Gigaba is the person who oversaw that procurement, and of course he appointed his fellow accused, Brian Molefe, Anoj Singh, and forced Transnet to reinstate one Siyabonga Gama, who also stands accused of corruption in the same deal. So his role would be amongst those. And of course, we should wonder what took the IDEC so long.
Well, there's an important question here because it wasn't just findings of the Zondo Commission. It was also, in fact, findings of the parliamentary inquiry in 2017. They all made strong findings against Malusi Gigaba. They wanted the NPA at the time to lay charges against him. This has taken a very long time.
It's taken a very long time. That was the Public Enterprises Committee in Parliament that found Gigaba had been negligent and that there was serious case for the police, for the law enforcement authorities to visit him. They finally have. The question we should be asking ourselves is, what has taken the NPA, IDEC, all the law enforcement officers to actually deal with the state capture, all those crimes, and of course many more? Zondo, in his report into state capture, actually found that Malusi also should be criminally prosecuted for accepting cash gratification gifts from the Gupta family. There was evidence that was laid at the commission that on many occasions a driver employed by Transnet drove him to the Gupta compound in Saxton World, where he would, on at least 6 occasions, come out with cash. Gigaba has never challenged that report, so those findings stand. He was also gifted a 5 million rand wedding gift or sponsored. Again, that's evidence that's never been challenged. It stands. He's never been prosecuted for that. You have to wonder, where is the South African Revenue Services? Has he paid any tax on all of those gratifications? He hasn't. But there is the matter now, finally, where he will be joining about 6 or 5 other accused, those people that I have already mentioned, for their role in Transnet.
During the time from which we saw these findings, both the parliamentary findings and the Zondo Commission findings, Gigaba, did not face any criminal charges. But there were these findings against him. And then he ended up actually being elected back to the NEC of the ANC and occupying an important position in Parliament. We know the state of the South African National Defence Force, the amount of work and the amount of money that it needs. And he is currently a co-chair of that committee.
Which should make South Africans wonder. South African voters have to ask themselves, how have they repeatedly voted in these people who allegedly are thugs? And I'm using that word because I really have to use it. They are thugs that everywhere they go, monies disappear, and the people of South Africa pay for all of that crime with the loss of jobs. You look at the state of the country, everywhere you look at the South African National Defence Force, which is unable to even defend itself against a ragtag army of rebels in the DRC. You place a character such as Malusi Gigaba to chair such a commission, and then you hope for the best. What has taken the people of South Africa for so long to realize what has been happening to their country with their own, of course, actions? They have been voting people like Gigaba back in and year out. And again, we should not be too excited about Gigaba being questioned now. Where is the case with Brian Molefe, Anoj, Singh going at the court with regards to the same thing? Are they having any success? I can assure you they are not having as much success as we want. You look at the ad hoc commission in Parliament, where it's checking what the South African Police Service has been doing, the Madlanga Commission. That's why we are in this mess, and that's why people like Malusi Gigaba are still occupying very influential and critical position, which places not only the government, but the whole security of the state at risk.
Gigaba denies any wrongdoing. He said he always made decisions for the good of the country. He was found back in 2017, 2018. There was a High Court finding that he had lied under oath. And eventually, that's actually why he had to resign as finance minister. I mean, this all feels like a long time ago, but it was a very important moment. Has he ever explained himself?
And his own wife actually described him as a servant of the Gupta family, which are fugitives from justice now. He's never explained himself. He had to resign and leave as finance minister, but the ANC promoted him again in Parliament, not only sent him back to Parliament, but gave him this important position that he occupies. Of course, we are now only talking about Malusi Gigaba, but you could look at half the people representing that party in government, and all of them, we could say exactly this and a whole lot more. They have never been held accountable precisely because they first dealt with the police, and you see how the corruption is ravaging the South African police services. I bet you my last cent, the NPA has not been able to prosecute even people that have already been arrested. A lot of them are walking free and laughing at all of us.
Sikonathi Mantshantsha, strong views. Thank you very much indeed. A journalist with News 24 Investigations.